What is up? What is up, guys? So today we're gonna discuss new chapter, which is language development. Let me just quickly turn my video on. Not this. All right. Okay. Done. Done. Just a second. Video capture device. Here I come. Yeah. So how are you guys? What is up? So today we're going to discuss language development, which is quite essential part. It's quite a small chapter, you could say, but it has a very strong impact on human development. So we'll take this as very important chapter. This is chapter 13. Okay, so let's get started. So this is Ravi Jain's sir का video. Personal handwritten notes है. I got it from him. So you could download all of these notes in a zip format from the Telegram group, which is ITN to IS, IS at Telegram. So that is where you could have me, and I would suggest before making notes, or even if you have made notes of psychology, you should go through it and make sure you have at least you would be having the content to write the answer. So I'd just suggest that you don't miss because available for free. I would suggest that you all should go and grow together. That is my slogan for today. All right, just a second, making things. I'm just checking if it is working fine now. We'll start. And yeah, I have made 3 more lectures video with all the syllabus in mind. So I'll make sure that you have been through these many of topics. You won't get the answers, you won't get the where from it is and things like that. So I would highly recommend that you go through it, because ये जो notes लिखा है उन्होंने रवि जैन सर ने, with due respect, he has made this note with very precisely, very crisp. In 7, this chapter is in 7 pages, if I'm not wrong. Let me just check. Okay, एक पेज, दूसरा, तीसरा, चौथा, पांचवा, छठा. Okay, 7 pages. So these are just 7 pages for language. At most, the last chapter जो था human development was of 10. So I have made a video on it also. I would recommend that you could have this all of these in a zip file from my Telegram group, which is ITN to IS. And please do subscribe to the channel so that ये playlist जो है उसमें मुझे सारा 28 जो chapters है पेपर 1 पेपर 2 के मैंने दोनों ही cover करने हैं. So I would suggest कि you go through it so that you get the basic idea. Even if you are a beginner, even if you are a veteran, you need it. You need it. I'm telling you, I've been studying psychology, but when I read through this notes personally, then I got to realize कि हाँ value तो है इसमें. So without further ado, let's jump into it. And before, please make sure you like the video, give it a thumbs up, so that it has really value for me. All right, and please do subscribe because I'm making it for free, and I'm sharing it for free even on Telegram. So please subscribe to the YouTube channel so that you never miss an update. You can also press the bell icon. All right, बोलना पड़ता है kind of thing. Anyways, so I have marked it, this yellow marker and red marker thing is I have marked it. When I was reading it first time, so it would be helpful for you guys. I would make sure that it would be completed in 1 hour by 10 p.m. So it would be a good revision for you all if you're giving test, because I'm also giving writing answers, answer practicing answer writing these days. So I'm just making sure that I go through my notes plus Ravi Jain sir ka notes. Well, my notes is also in the Telegram group. If you don't know, it's also available for free. It is pinned in the Telegram channel, so you could download it. उसमें सारे books वगैरह भी मिल जाएंगे, है ना? So this is Anubhav. If you don't know, uh, I have done BTech from IIT Isam, which is from 2015 to 2019 from computer science department. That is it, my intro. Well, hope you liked it, or even if you don't, I, then you can move on. Right, let's go. Language is a system of sounds and symbols. These symbols that you would be read when you would be reading this in the book, you would get to know that there would be symbols written, and you will get to know later why it is symbols, because we write it also. Language is not just verbals but in written format. We'll read it later. Okay, certain rules and create meaning. There is rules and there are meanings. There are some properties, that is displacement. Displacement क्या होता है? Human beings can talk about objects which are at remote part from the speaker, which is called displacement property of language. Duality क्या होता है? To create new meanings. किसी की चीज़ की ऑलरेडी मीनिंग है, तो उसका और एक मीनिंग जनरेट करना, which is duality of duality of patterning. Sorry, the duality of patterning. Okay, so there is productivity, never be produced before, which is never been produced before, but you are making it sound something, or making it a different way. Pronunciation is different, or you are making a different word altogether. That could be a productivity thing. It is prevarication. I don't know what word it is. Prevarication, or no, don't know which property it is. But ability to lie or talk nonsense, like the comedians or these stand-up comedians people do. That is the kind of couple Sharma show here. All right. So moving on. Reflectiveness, you could reflect upon something about communication that you're already having. You could reflect upon, like, suppose you said something earlier and you're reflecting upon it. That could be a way. Learn all other language, which is learnability. If you learn one language, it is better and easier to learn it later. Oh, sorry, different language to learn it later. Okay, rules of syntax is there. Rules of pragmatics. Pragmatics is the practical use of language in social context. Okay, stages of language, what is it? Which is stages of language development. By the way, if you don't know who Ravi Jain sir is, he has got 307 marks in UPSC mains, if I'm not wrong. So he got ninth rank in UPSC civil service examination, so which is a big blow. By the way, he's from my school, my hometown, and I haven't met him personally yet, but hoping to see him soon. He's in Labasna right now. I had a talk recently, so कुछ भी doubt होता तो I could ask. So if you have any doubt, you could put in a chat box so that I could ask him and get back to you, right? All right. Or you could even ping me on this group Telegram channel as well as Telegram group. You could get the link in the description. Okay, let's go. स्टेजेस क्या क्या है भाई? प्री लिंग्विस्टिक स्टेज होता है 0 से 12 मंथ्स तक। 6 मंथ तक नॉइज बनाएगा, 6 मंथ के बाद बैबलिंग करेगा, एंड देन दिस वन इज समथिंग न्यू विच इज babbling is like ba ba. It's not, does not, sorry, this is ba. Okay, that is babbling. सेम फ्रेज को, सेम सिलेबल को लेके खींचता है वो बच्चा, which is babbling. Prolonged repetition. There's no repetition as such. Repetition आता है equulatia में आता है repetition of a where is ba 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 ma, that is kind of thing. So one word stage होता है कब? 12 से 24 मंथ. ज़्यादा कुछ पढ़ना नहीं है भाई, इतना कुछ एक्सप्लेन करने को नहीं मिलेगा in paper, and to even in 250 marks. If you have written answer or practice answer writing, you know it that ज़्यादा answers, ज़्यादा words नहीं होते, तो you could make it precise for your depending upon your learning ability, right? Two word stage क्या होता है? Which is from, कहाँ होता है two word stage? Like telegraphic speech. What it is, it really is पानी दो, खाना खाना, भूख लगा, and kind of phrases they say, which is telegraphic speech or two word speech, which is from 2 years to 3 years. Okay, morphosynthetic stage. Thus, the child is able to speak grammatically correct sentences, which is morphosynthetic stage. Synthetic is which is being developed, and I don't know morpho, what does it mean? Maybe formed stage. So that is where this the child speaks grammatically correct sentences. Structure of language. All right. Units of language. Units of, what are the units of language? That is phoneme. Okay, it's harder to pronounce for me. Phoneme, which is the smallest unit, है kind of a syllable thing. Syllable is the second part, but this generally does not have any meaning to it. All right, seems like marker is not really working. Yeah, it's working now. All right. The smallest unit of language that distinguishes meaning. Every language has different phoneme. Phoneme. I don't know if it is pronounced correctly, but please check once. Okay, so S is one unit. So I guess these are the alphabets: S, U, N. Okay. Syllable, which is, suppose C syllable if you are speaking. Say, le, pal. These are three syllable word. This one is three syllable word. Syllable itself. So that is how silver. Morpheme, which has something smallest unit but having some meaning to it, which is morpheme. Bound morpheme is there also, there get meaning when they have combined with the word like prefix plus suffix. Okay, कुछ और लगा देगा word के पीछे, तो like legal and illegal, using ill in before that il, then it would be having different meaning to it, so it is bound morpheme. The sentences, then languages, rules of language, rules of phonology. These are rules, and these are units, and which make up structure. Structure is given in syllabus. All right. Phonology is, let's talk about it. Phonology, these indicate combination of sound with a, I don't know what it is, and it is bit harder to read, although it's better. It's better. Is the handwriting is although better, but it seems harder to read for me. I don't know for you guys. Rules of morphology is there. They indicate, what would they indicate? It's quite unreadable. So morphology का भी rules होता है, phonology का भी rules होता है. These are the units of a language, है ना? Phonology is how they sound, and morphology is how they structure, I guess, combination of form. Theory of language. There are three theories which are given by three different fields, which is empiricist, nativist. Nativist is genes, people who relate to genes and the genetic factor. Empiricist is empiricist, I guess, are the people who relate the environment, rather nurture, and these nativists are the people who take this thing, the nature thing, not the nurture, into. And there's interactionist. Let's see what they have to say. Language is primarily acquired by conditioning, है ना? ये कौन बोल रहा है? ये बोल रहा है those skin and kind of people, because behaviorism इसमें involved हो जाएगा, क्योंकि environment से अगर सीख रहा है बंदा या बच्चा, तो definitely कंडीशनिंग होगा उसके लिए, रीइंफोर्स किया जाएगा, रिपीटेशन बाय अडल्ट किया जाएगा, शेपिंग which is repetition of adult in speech could be called successive approximation when the child acquires it. Verbal behavior होगा. स्किनर्स थ्योरी क्या कहता है? ओके, बंडूरा भी है. बंडूरा कैन play acquired through imitation. Okay, imitation बोल रहा है. Bandura is all about observational learning. Bobo-doll experiment is there, ना? तो observational learning is imitating. That is, so Skinner का theory क्या कहता है of language acquisition? That is conditioning, association, imitation, reinforcement से होता है, shaping से होता है, successive approximation से होता है. Regional difference क्या है? To illustrate this, regional इसका मतलब क्या क्या कैसे हम लोग कह सकते हैं कि ये सब कंडीशनिंग और ये सब के इमिटेशन के वजह से हम लोग लैंग्वेज सीख रहे हैं, क्योंकि प्रोनाउंसिएशन में चेंजेस आते हैं फ्रॉम रीजन टू रीजन. इफ समवन स्पीकिंग द वे इट इज, दैट many people would say not pronunciation but pronunciation. They use noun. It is pronounce versus pronounce. These two are different, although meanings are same, but they are pronounced differently. But many in Indian culture and in many culture even, they say pronunciation, so they use noun here. So that makes a cultural difference, and that is how the reason of imitation comes into picture, conditioning comes into picture, reinforcement, shaping, and successive approximation comes into picture. स्किनर का क्लासिफिकेशन क्या है लैंग्वेज का? ऑपरेंट कंडीशनिंग बोलता है स्किनर. Let's see क्या बोलता है ये. It serves as operant condition, operant behavior, and has talked about 5 types of verbal behavior. 5 types of verbal behavior. This is mand. Mand comes from command as well as demand. कि हम related with command as well as demand, where whenever a mand sentence is spoken, the resulting behavior reinforces मैन स्टेटमेंट. मतलब कोई कमांड या डिमांड कुछ मांग रहा है, तो वो अगर तुम उसका रिजल्टिंग बिहेवियर रीइंफोर्सेस द स्पोकन वर्ड. कोई बंदा कहा कि ये चाहिए, तो उसके वही चीज़ रीइंफोर्स हो रहा है एंड इट इज़ लर्न. दूसरा है फैक्ट्स एंड एस्पेक्ट्स ऑफ इन्वायरमेंट इज टर्म symbolizes represents a aspect of the environment that is okay. Reinforcement is not particular but generalized. Not particular but generalized होता है. I'm having a bit of cough and cold, so pardon my voice. Is in form of approximate of the listener. जो सुनता है उसको approximate करके वो learn करता है. That is facts. Echoic है, which is repetitive, and it is a prerequisite of complex language. Repeat करके हम लोग सीखते हैं. So what we are studying, the 5 types of verbal behavior. Skinner का classification. Autoclatus. Okay. Autoclatus are responses in which individual speaks about their behavior and describes the condition under which the behavior occurs. That is how descriptive type of language is learned. Intraverbal is something which is, this is a form of word association where a certain word will control which word to proceed after it. That is intraverbal word association is learned. Evaluation, individual differences comes here. Evaluation, acquisition of different languages fails to explain. That is the evaluation कि करण जो बोल रहा है वो सही है कि नहीं, which is all about the individual differences that come into play. It fails to explain the language acquisition takes place and the error committed by individual which have never been reinforced fails to account for complex ways in which the language is learned. Then there are nativists. Humans have innate ability to learn language. These are nativists. Innate, which is genetic. Then there are Lenberg. Children acquire language without explicit instruction. So that does not explain it. All right. Children seems to have developed language even the most unfavorable environmental condition, and that is not explained by Skinner itself. Unfavorable environmental conditions पे कैसे लोग सीखते हैं language. Most principle of operant conditioning. It is most principle of particularly shaping extinction is their reinforcement, stimulus, generalization forms, and skin. Basis of Skinner viewpoint, instrumental conditioning, principle of chaining. Chaining, I don't know, it is chaining or what it is. Chaining is particularly used to describe ways in which phrases and sentences are acquired. Okay, phrases and changes are acquired. That is chaining. Criticism of Skinner cannot explain high degree of competence in language, which is one thing. कि कॉम्पिटेंस कैसे हो रहा है बच्चों में, कैन नॉट एक्सप्लेन अ डिग्री ऑफ कॉम्पिटेंस. कुछ लोग ज़्यादा अच्छे से कर पा रहे हैं, कुछ लोग नहीं अच्छे से नहीं कर पा रहे. वो एक्सप्लेन नहीं कर पाता कि द चिल्ड्रन लर्न some rude way of saying things. Do, karo, thing kind of when they are into words or telepathic phase of development of language, then they sound something rude, sometimes rude. But people do not speak that rudeness with that rudeness, so they it fails to explain that. No evidence that parents train child in the use of language systematically. Okay, systematically train नहीं किया जाता है, फिर भी they learn things very systematically. That is not explained by Skinner. Deaf and dumb parents जो इसके उनके बच्चे अच्छा खासा अच्छा खासा लैंग्वेज स्पीक, दे कुड स्पीक वेरी वेल डेवलप्ड लैंग्वेज, it fails to explain that, does not explain creativity. That is another thing, does not explain creativity in language use. Criticism of Chomsky's theory. Chomsky ka theory is very important, I in a way, because Chomsky says that every many times what the language we learn is all many times it is very genetic in nature, because there was an experiment, I'm forgetting the experiment's name, the name of the person who did. उसमें ये होता है कि कुछ लोग आइलैंड में फंसे हो जाते हैं और बच्चा वैसा ही बड़ा होता है, तो दे have no experience of the other people speaking, but still they learn to speak. That is Chomsky's theory, which is all about nativistic theory. Nativist kind of person this is. He has overlooked the importance of reinforcement. Overlooked reinforcement. इसने बोला कि reinforcement का कोई value ही नहीं है in language. Lack of empirical support. Reinforcement in not in such that कि when you speak, when a child speak, आप उसको toffee दोगे, chocolate दोगे, या ऐसा कुछ करोगे. Reinforcement in the sense that even if you say, even if you smile when child say ba 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 ba, babbling sort of stage, or uh, any of these two word stage or anything like that, so that doesn't mean you will reinforce them with chocolates, but smile and the hug you give is kind of a reinforcement for the child. Lack of empirical support of LAD. Okay, empirical support नहीं ले रहा है LAD का. All right, and then we have, he assumed that the grammatical knowledge is innately determined by the assumption does not fit with the certain observation of language development. Okay, चौथा नंबर है his universal grammar rule. यूनिवर्सल ग्रामर रूल भी है कि कुछ यूनिवर्सल ग्रामर एग्जिस्ट करता है in every culture, in every country. Rule also been criticized. So difference between Skinner and Chomsky, which is given. Even there was a question of in previous years. I don't know which year, but in last 5 years there was this question of Skinner versus Chomsky's development of language. So Skinner क्या कहता है, as a behaviorist have language learned from selective action and वही reinforcement सीख रहा है. यहाँ पे क्या है, nativist है ये बोल रहा है innately it is very genetic, language is learned very genetically. Skinner emphasizes on overt behavior, कि जो बोल रहा है, जो कर रहा है बच्चा, उससे ही reinforce हो रहा है, और conditions under which language is learned. Chomsky's, on the other hand, emphasizes on structural language. I need to wrap this up. All right. Skinner emphasized on overt, and this Chomsky ने बोला it is very structural sort of thing. Chomsky insisted that language is infinitely variable and complex. This is very complex thing, he said. Given critical cues, language emerges automatically, which is says kind of genetic thing. Also, rules can be learned more quickly. Rules जो है learn quickly and can than behavior shaped by reinforcement. Then behavior shaped by reinforcement. Okay. वो बोल रहा है कि rules are learned normally, naturally, than it is reinforced. Critical period of language. Let's see what it is. This is given by Lenberg, a nativist, which is genetic factors is important. Ability to generate and understand languages and inherited thing. Species specific characteristic of human. species specific होता है ये, inherited characteristic, है ना. We believe that the children must acquire language during the age. A particular age, critical period is a sensitive period, which is also called sensitive period, is where learning is easier. देखो यहाँ पे वो एक्सपेरिमेंट है, जीनी एक्सपेरिमेंट. 13 साल का आइसोलेशन विद आइसोलेशन ऑफ ट्रेनिंग, आइसोलेशन विद ट्रेनिंग विद वाज एबल टू, अच्छा ट्रेनिंग दिया गया, वाज एबल टू एक्वायर लैंग्वेज, vocabulary and good comprehension, but her grammatical abilities were limited. Grammatical अगर ट्रेनिंग दिया जाए तो there are some possibility. Grammatical grammatical disability would be there if it has not learned in that this sensitive period. All right, let's move on. Language learners got completed by this is somewhere around puberty time. 13 साल से पहले ही ये खत्म हो जाता है, this critical period. That is how children could learn languages quite earlier than us adults. Phonology, what is it? Surface structure, surface structure है, deep structure है, semantic, and then there is a semantics are the rules, and phonology is how you speak, that tones, which is very visible, so it is called surface. Semantic is quite this thing, quite subjective in nature. Rather, you could say it is quite objective in nature because others could also evaluate it, but it has deep ingrained ingrained into us. Transfer of information and knowledge, understanding from source to the receiver. That is source to information को receiver तक भेजने, that is communication. Telecommunication भी ऐसा ही होता है, so you could write it. Visualizing that the process in which sender reaches the receiver with through the feelings of ideas and facts. Okay, source हुआ, encoding होगा, ट्रांसमिशन होगा, एंड देन रिसेप्शन कोई होगा, डिकोड करेगा, उसको यूज करेगा, एंड देन फीडबैक दे देगा. दैट इज इट. टू वे कम्युनिकेशन. वन वे क्या होगा कि फीडबैक ही नहीं हो, तो it would be one way communication. So let's say types of communication like one way communication, two way communication, many one communication, and one to many communication kind of thing. Many to many communication, that is also there, like as an open group speaking, and many, let's say in telegram also, that could be a medium for communication. Verbal communication, there are two ways, oral हो सकता है और written हो सकता है. ठीक है, these are quite you could say these are fast feedback available होगा, both sender receiver together साथ में होने चाहिए. Excuse me. Non-verbal aspect can be seen and or heard. We feeling between source and receiver. Feelings are also said when you are very oral, but in written it is harder to comprehend what the emotions are, but when you're writing it. It has no permanent record. भाई इसमें क्या समझाना है? Understanding due to the semantic barrier. All behavior can't be expressed. Okay. All right. Let's put this bad boy into charge. Just a second. So please do subscribe, guys, so that I could help you better. All right. Moving on. Non-verbal communication is also there. What it is refers to transmission of culture, that is transmission of culture. No one has spoken it, but over time it is like ingrained into us, into our behaviors. The be it the helping nature, or be it the helping nature like Khalsa aid is there, or the stereotype and discrimination that is happening. Significant information from the source to the receiver without the use of words. Studies so study some aspect of spoken message, particularly emotions and attitudes, are better conveyed by Non-verbal communication, non-verbal like gestures जैसे हो सकता है, फेशियल एक्सप्रेशंस हो सकते हैं, बॉडी लैंग्वेज हो सकता है. Significance of non-verbal communication, you know, it complete the ritual. In any ritual, use of non-verbal is required. Like in rituals, significance. Some culture is used to communicate taboo without information about self. For expressing interpersonal attitude. Okay. Certain things are difficult to describe through oral or written communication. Okay. And even in security, for security purpose, many of time you have to make gestures spatially to avoid anything, avoid making sounds. Non-verbal communication can be used for sustained verbal communication. Okay. In noisy environment, you could use it providing feedback, for providing feedback. Okay, in gestures, that could be a good way. Nonverbal communication is useful for synchronizing the speech. Okay, individual difference कहाँ आती है non-verbal communication? Everywhere in psychology, individual differences are quite important. That is, I mean, that what makes psychology quite important. Major in day-to-day interaction, men touch women, but women do not touch men. Okay, that is, I don't know, quite stereotype, but let's just move on. Feature: women respond to touching positively. Okay, that is a good thing. Maybe it works because some psychologists are saying Rostel Rostel is saying that Rosenthal. Okay, sorry, it's Rosenthal. Foreign women are superior in sending and understanding normal communication. Okay, women are better in language and non-verbal communication. Okay, Zuckerman, what he has to say: who are high in femininity. Subjects who are high in femininity, be it male or female, were superior in using facial expressions. Okay, femininity is more about reading. I think they have better knowledge about non-verbal communication, tone of their voice and their feelings. Okay, Buck. Let's just take Buck. Women are externalizer that in their faces are more expressive. Okay, that is quite unique in a way. Let's just say more expressive, though they report less intense emotion. On the other hand, men are internalizers. Types of nonverbal communication, that is by knees and keys. I don't know, that is how you pronounce the name. Sign language is also there. Words, number, and punctuation are supplanted by gestures. Gestures होती है. Even punctuation marks भी होती है. That is quite unique to know. Action language includes all those words which signal as person needs to have the same line. constitute statement. Observe them walking and drinking. Quite alcoholic it seems. Types of non-verbal communication. Okay, drinking and walking. So ये बंदा पियक्कड़ है. You would stay out of uh, that person's companionship. Object language. It refers to the intentional and unintentional dis what does displays of natural material thing such as implements, machinery, and even human body clothes. Okay, clothes that we wear, that could be one thing. The way we dress up speaks much about us. So that could be quite unintentional, but that has to say the kind of person you are, and the kind of mood you're in. Because coats and blazers पहन के आप तो in general लोग informal नहीं होंगे. That could be one thing. Refers to body language and it is the way body communicates without the word through movements of by movements of parts, body parts. Touch could say a lot. External touching depends upon the relationship enjoyed by the. Okay, depends on context. Important touch behavior. Okay, they have handshake, holding, hitting. Okay, moving on. Just two more pages. Facial expression has much to say. Eye contact, gesture, head nodding, posture, facial expression. Proxemics refers to personal space language of an individual and how we communicate with the space around us, invisible space in which intruders are not allowed. Intruders are not allowed. है ना? That is invisible space is there. Personal space depends upon cultural background of an individual. Personal space depends on four types of interpersonal distances. Intimate zone, personal zone, social zone, public zone. That shows the kind of interpersonal distances. Okay. Knowledge has to say something. Behavior in male public laboratory. Three urinals side by side. Okay, delay in urination. Men used to wait for this thing. Okay. In very personal space of people sitting in bench in public park. Okay, when if you're sitting into a bench, you have to take care that someone is not already sitting. Then only you could see. said before asking at the same bench. Ekman is also their facial expression with the tribals and American subjects own story concerning single emotion. Three photograph with different facial expressions. Pick one that describe best. Paralanguage refers to non-verbal aspects of speech. It therefore includes the aspect of like pause, language, accent, speed, the speech errors. You know, these are quite important when you speak. That is pragmatic sort of part. Research has shown that person who speak rapidly and communicate commits error in speech as his pace increases. अच्छा, rapid error होने के बाद generally people tend to speak faster. Okay, and the one who is in feeling, likewise accent indicates that about a person, geographical location and socio-economic class. Yeah, accent people do take it as it signifies socio-economic class. A tone of voice, that is tonality, is quite important. The how you speak, be it a very shrill sound, yeah, 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 that is, or maybe like a very deep voice kind of thing. Quite important. Okay, with an excess voice and comparison to angry voice. Indicating the emotional state of a person that shows emotions. अल्कोहलिक पर्सन को ट्रीट करने के लिए persuasive communication is also there to persuade someone and is attempt. Okay, seems like a lot to go. Persuasion receives centric excuse discrepancy with between the intended and the perceived. Persuader होता है, persuadee होता है, overlaps, and processes in three elements: persuader, persuadee, and persuasive. Appeal भी होनी चाहिए. According to the Carl Novoland, the process of persuasion involve four steps. Persuasion के लिए क्या चाहिए? Four steps है. Attention has to the degree of audience is aware of the message. Comprehension, degree to which you understand the message, they understand the message. Then acceptance, audience is likely to accept the message if it is some utility to them. Some utility is important, that is it should be valuable to them as well. That is, has to be there should be a common ground between you and the persuader as well as the persuadee. Retention is quite important for remembrance. The message is important. All right, the message or acting upon the main point mentioned. Source characteristics, credibility, trustworthiness. has to be developed. Expectness low. Sometimes low credibility source may emerge as successful in bringing about attitude change, particularly when it is seen as having arguing against the fundamental interest. Credibility is quite important there. You know, it should be a credible source. Okay. Attractiveness. Parameter of attractive source. फिजिकल अट्रैक्टिवनेस हो सकता है, एटीट्यूडनल सिमिलैरिटी होनी से भी देयर समथिंग अट्रैक्टिव, वैल्यू कंपेटिबिलिटी, सोशियो कल्चरल बैकग्राउंड is quite important, communication versatility, power. Greater is the dependency of target group on the source is this persuader, target group dependency is important. More power the source is likely to have over the target group. Degree of motivation, internalize credible होनी चाहिए, identity and comply. Okay, internalize करना is quite important. Identity, attractive and power to comply with. Message characteristics. This was source characteristics. This is message characteristics. Discrepancy होनी चाहिए. Social justice theory. Attitude change occurs when the message falls in the receiver's latitude of acceptance. The discrepancy is too high. The message falls in latitude of rejection. Okay. Fear appeal. Should be mild, ineffective and strong fear appeal. Create defensive avoidance, wherein a target group insulates itself from the message issued by the source. Okay, too much of fear appeal is not good. So it come with a solution. Solution is quite important. Drawing conclusion depending on target group, conclusion to be drawn. Message is abstract, receiver not educated. Drawing conclusion, receiver not educated, then it is quite difficult. Should not be drawn when audience is hostile or suspicious, sophisticated, the message one-sided, two-sided, or okay, should be one-sided, two-sided message, or factual rationalization and emotional appeal. Okay, fact based भी हो सकता है और emotional भी हो सकता है. That could be different way to appeal. Pleasant form of distraction, food, humor. Distraction is also kind of important. Channel factor, long, complex, print, short, audible, audio visual होना चाहिए. ओके, लॉन्ग हो तो प्रिंट, शॉर्ट हो तो ऑडियो विजुअल. ओके, that is good. Primacy and recency effect, that you must have learned important message at the beginning, at the end. Participation, important message at the beginning or at the end. Participation of learner is important. Receiver characteristics, selective exposure होना चाहिए, attention. Interpreter होना चाहिए अच्छा. Men has more persuasion power in comparison to women. Women are more easily persuaded in comparison to man. Okay. Personality is quite important. Person with a high emotional stability, high self-efficacy, self-esteem will be difficult to be persuaded, but once persuaded are difficult to be influenced by counter attitude. हाँ, एक सेकेंड. Okay, let's continue. Difficult persuaded. Once persuaded are difficult to be influenced by counter attitudinal propaganda. People with high intelligence are difficult to persuade, and mainly because of the superior criteria, critical thinking. Okay, critical thinking ability. How to resist persuasion? This is never asked, but immunization हो सकता है, forewarning हो सकता है, derogation of the source हो सकता है, excessive may result in credibility loss of the person indulging in derogation. Okay. Habit of effective listening. Eliminate physical barrier. Okay. That is how you could avoid or resist persuasion. Barriers in communication. Semantic barrier हो सकती है. Signs of meaning without meaning. Okay. So symbols have more than one meaning. Then it is difficult. Symbols more than one meaning, then it is difficult for non-technical words in the language. It has also occurred and with this mismatch between the verbal and non-verbal signal messages. To overcome semantic barrier, we must make a message idea centric and provide illustration. Illustration is important. Simple like psychological barriers because of attitudinal occurs attitudinal incompatibility of the persuader and persuadee. Psychological barrier could also be there. Attitudinal incompatibility. Also due to emotional separation. Barriers are likely. Okay, distortion of message. Based on selective perception is also thing. Attention interpretation used for by persuading it is difficult to overcome. as this would require redressal of anxiety, psychological climate of trust, non-judgmental acceptance is also important. Steps to make communication effective. Use credible, attractive, powerful source, face to face. Plan the message, planning symbols which are receiver friendly, pleasant form of distraction. Distraction should be there, but it should be pleasant form. Okay. Temporal summation. Repetition is important. Support message with the culturally congruent example. Okay. Eliminate semantic barriers by making verbal non-verbal message congruent. Okay. Make communication paracentric rather than word centric. Okay. Barrier by removing develop barriers of communication as we have done. Acceptance, organizational communication, physical barrier. This is barriers in communication. Physical barrier refers to the disturbances in environment. Block communication, then organization communication. This could be vertical, or this could be horizontal to your boss or to your subordinate, or horizontal which is lateral to your colleagues on same level. Formal, informal network, that is in group out group concept. So we're done with this. We're done. So this almost took 1 hour and 7 minutes. All right. So approximately 1 hour. Okay, this is 1 hour 7 minutes. 7 minutes. We were talking about thing that you got to subscribe and listen it repeatedly so that it gets into your mind. Even with audio, you could play it in background and put earphones on so that you could learn and revise while in the go, in the train or in the flight, so that it retained with repetitive active repetition and things like that. All right, see you soon guys, take care. Please hit subscribe and like. Please share it to your friends with psychology optional, and I would see you in the next lecture. Till then, please like it and please do subscribe. All right, see you, bye.